Oh, who was that?
Thank you, John.
Okay. All set, John?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, very good. Hey, good evening. Welcome to the December 21st Clifton Park Town Board meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, guys.
Oh, that's who that is. I heard those voices. How you doing? All right. Hello there.
Hi.
Hello. I like your Christmas tree.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's get started. I want to thank everybody, once again. 2020 has been full of interesting twists and turns, obviously, and changes on the fly. And this is another example of that as we hold our first Zoom meeting for the town board in 2020. I do want to thank everybody for, again, being flexible. I know I've talked a lot about that, but it can never go without being unsaid that our organization is filled with people that continue to be flexible and focus on the job at hand, no matter the circumstances that come our way in 2020, and likely at least into the early stages of 2021. So, and I want to thank John Scavo. John is behind the scenes here, kind of working the meeting, and I want to thank him for doing that as we proceed through what hopefully will be a successful Zoom meeting without any glitches, knock on wood. So first we'll start with Teresa, if you would call the roll, please.
Councilman Whalen?
Here.
Councilwoman Standart?
Here.
Councilman Morelli?
Here.
Councilwoman Wallowit? Linda,
Here.
do you have your mic?
No.
Councilwoman Wallowit? I see your name, but I don't see your mic or a video.
Okay, well, I'm sure she'll join us.
And Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. Entertain approval of town board meeting minutes of December 7th and 15th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Morelli, second by Mr. Whalen. Discussion. Okay, Teresa.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standart?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit? Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. Okay, we do have, I just had a couple of quick communications and announcements. One is a COVID update. As of today, there were reported 1,479 active cases. As of Friday, there was 1,457. So based on the reports and the information data that's available to us, based on the last several weeks, that's a fairly small increase in comparison. Although we have seen what we thought were some good news along the way as far as the number of cases, and maybe they would plateau at a certain point following the Thanksgiving holiday. I wouldn't say they've plateaued yet, although there were some signs that they might have. They're still increasing. Let's hope that if they do increase any further, that rate of growth continues to slow, and hopefully the active cases number will start going in the opposite direction in a downward trend. Difficult to say, but and as we've said all along, time will tell, and all we can do is keep you apprised of tracking the data on a daily basis. Just a quick reminder, if you're following any trackers, I've been putting one out daily for months and months. We do not receive data on weekends. So Monday through Friday, we receive reports, but not on Saturday and Sunday. So that's why you'll see 2 days a week where there just isn't any information to report. The concern is always that on Monday, you're taking into account a couple of days and there could be a spike in cases. When that doesn't happen, that is a good sign, and that's what happened from Friday to today's report. Also want to say that we're going to recognize a couple of folks today. We talked at the last meeting about this being Councilman Whalen's last meeting, and we thank him for his years of service to the town of Clifton Park, and want to extend our deepest appreciation and thanks for his efforts to improve our town. And I know there's some other folks that want to do that on the line as well. And we're also going to recognize George Peterson for a long tenure of volunteer service on behalf of the town of Clifton Park. Before we get into that, I just want to remind everybody, obviously, Christmas week. I know it seems to come quicker every year, right? So there will be, town hall will be closed on Friday, half a day Thursday. So just want to remind people of that. In addition, hours will change for the transfer station. So you can find the hours of the transfer station on a daily basis throughout the holidays on our Facebook page, as well as the website, cliftonpark.org. So please it's on the back of your transfer station permit card as always, but just make sure that you take a look at, if you don't have your card handy, take a look at the website or the Facebook page and kind of plan your week accordingly as far as your trips to the transfer station. Are there any other communications and announcements at this time?
I thought
All
I
right,
should.
well, we'll get right. Oh, I'm sorry.
So I'm going to read the notice about that was in the December 18th Schenectady Gazette about tonight's meeting.
Oh, okay, yeah, and that was the public notice. Thank you, Teresa.
Yes. Notice of town board meeting, update meeting to be held by Zoom, Town of Clifton Park, County of Saratoga, State of New York. Because the Clifton Park Town Hall is currently closed to the public and is on an appointment-only basis, the regularly scheduled town board meeting to be held on Monday, December 21st, 2020 will be held as a Zoom meeting. Logistics and online access information for attending the meeting will be found on www.cliftonpark.org, and the meeting can also be viewed immediately upon the close of the meeting on the cliftonpark.org website. Select government from the drop-down menu, select town board, select meeting video archive. The meeting will take place as scheduled at 7:00 p.m.
Great, thank you, Teresa, for reading that public notice that appeared in the Gazette. And just want to remind everybody that we are here each day working in every department at Town Hall and throughout our departments. But access to town buildings is restricted. It was something that was just recently implemented again this time of year, just as we did back in the spring. So please call ahead, make an appointment. Foot traffic was very low in the last several weeks, but there are still many services that people request and deserve our greatest attention. And even though foot traffic has been extremely low, this time of year, certificates of residency for students are very important. And I know Teresa's office is very busy with that and other paperwork that people need, as well as licenses and contractors working in the town of Clifton Park, working with the building department on permits and approvals, so on and so forth. So there's still a couple of departments that do see some activity, but overall our foot traffic was very low and continues to be. So that restriction was implemented through the end of the year, and we will next week gauge the situation and either allow it to run out at the end of the year or extend it. Okay. So first up, we have a resolution for George Peterson. Could you read that, please, Teresa?
Yes. Resolution number 243 of 2020, a resolution honoring George Peterson for over 30 years of service to the cause and expansion of the public water in Clifton Park, introduced by Supervisor Barrett, who moved its adoption, seconded by the entire town board. Whereas George Peterson began his advocacy for the expansion of public water service in Western Clifton Park in 1989 as a founding member of the Rexford Water District Advisory Committee. And whereas Mr. Peterson served as the commissioner of the Rexford Water District beginning in 1990 and served in that capacity until the Clifton Park Water Authority assumed responsibility for the operation and maintenance of the district's infrastructure in 2006. And whereas the town board honored Mr. Peterson with a key to the town in 2006 and appointed him to the board of the Clifton Park Water Authority in 2011, where his intricate knowledge of the Rexford system was invaluable to the authority. And whereas during his tenure on its board of directors, the Water Authority expanded the quality and quantity of water available throughout the town, including support for projects such as the refurbishment of the Boyack Water Treatment Plant storage tank, additional treatment facilities at the Plank Road pumping facility, the Boyack Treatment Plant, and the major capital project to refurbish the Knoll Top water storage tank. And whereas Mr. Peterson also supported the recent construction of pump station facilities to improve the authority's capacity to process water from the Saratoga County Water Authority. And whereas throughout his tenure with the Water Authority, Mr. Peterson served as a board representative for all collective bargaining negotiations since the initiation of employee representation at the authority in 2013. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on behalf of the people of Clifton Park, the town board expresses its appreciation to one of our most dedicated volunteer public servants and recognizes George Peterson's outstanding contributions to public health, safety, and welfare throughout the expansion of the widespread availability and affordability of quality public water to our residents, not only in Western Clifton Park and Rexford, but throughout the town as well.
Thank you, Teresa, and I'll move adoption of the resolution with a second by the entire board with their approval. Okay, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standart,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes, and I just want to thank George for his many years of service. As it stated in the resolution, it was quite a few years ago now that we presented George with a key to the town, and that just really was a very good example of the tremendous efforts that he had put forth as a volunteer in our town up till that point. Fast forward to the end of 2020, he's invested an incredible amount of time. The Water Authority has been very busy over the last 2 decades, and George Peterson was a tireless advocate for the people of Rexford and the people of Clifton Park. He fully understood the importance of the free flow of water in our town, the need to improve quality and quantity of water available to Clifton Park residents, and his background in expertise and knowledge of our town was invaluable throughout the last 2 decades. So in particular. So I just want to personally thank George for all the years that he's invested, 30 years, as the resolution said, just tremendous. And I don't know what else to say. I wish we could give him this resolution in person at a board meeting. We'll effort to do that at some point. But thank you, George. Okay, we also are recognizing Mr. Whalen tonight, and we've got a couple of happy folks joining us from the Whalen household. So Good to see them as well. Excited for Santa's arrival, I'm sure. But I know first, before we go to the resolution, let's first hear from Linda Seymour, and I think Pauline Bohm is
Bain?
joining us. Bohm, I'm sorry, is joining us as well. Pauline, are you there as well?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you are. Good, good.
Yeah, I'm kind of fuzzy.
Well, good evening, ladies, very much. You're two longtime leaders of the Historic Preservation Commission, and I know you wanted to say a few words, so you have the floor.
Well, thank you very much, Supervisor Barrett. I'd also like to introduce Nancy Kiyanaka, who is also here this evening. And all our liaison from the Town Planning Board, Ahmed Andreas, is also with us. So
Great.
I know a lot of others wanted to come and personally extend our very best wishes to James and to tell him how great his service was to the commission and how he will be missed. And James, what I'd like to do is to read this certificate of appreciation, which we will, after the meeting, we'll discuss it tomorrow by email as to how I'm going to get this to you. But this is how the commission feels about you and your services. Are you listening, kids? This is all about your daddy. The Historic Preservation Commission recognizes with honor and privilege Councilman James Whalen, who served as Clifton Park Town Board Liaison to the commission from 2013 to 2020. As liaison, Mr. Whalen was a strong advocate for the preservation of historic buildings, sites, and structures within our community. His active promotion and support of the commission has been integral in recognizing the importance of Clifton Park's history for present and future generations. His personal involvement, professional insight, collegial manner, and friendship have been a great asset to the commission. The members of the Town of Clifton Park Historic Preservation Commission commend Mr. Whalen and express their appreciation and best wishes. And it is signed, but not for real, just listing all of the commission members. And we appreciate all of the service that you have given, your guidance. You were always there when we called or emailed. And I'm going to ask some of the other members to speak. I know you've been getting some emails from some of our members today, but Nancy, would you like to chime in? You've been involved in working with the commission longer than I have, and I'm sure you might have something to add as well.
Well,
Hi, Nancy, how are you?
Thank you,
Mr.
Linda.
Nice to see you. I just want to say I've worked in public service for over 40 years at different levels, and I deeply appreciated James's commitment and also just the fact that whenever we needed you, you were there, because so often public service work gets slowed down, and I always felt like we were able to accomplish what we did and very easily because of how you helped us. So that's why I wanted to be on this call this evening, and thank you for everything. And the children are getting really big.
They are. We'll see how long they can hold this in.
Well, I can even do this too.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, very much.
James, also, the members all chipped in, and we wanted to give you something special for you and your family. It is a gift certificate for one of our most recent additions to the tax easement, the Jonesville Country Store, which is now a classic crust pizza. What kid doesn't like pizza? So
Yeah.
Mommy, I love pizza.
Oh, great. Well, then, hopefully you'll be able to enjoy this. And as you do, remember your friends on the commission and also the important role that you played in the historic preservation of all things special in Clifton Park. You and your family are very special to us. Thank you so much for your services.
Well,
And thank you, council persons and supervisor for allowing us to make this presentation this evening.
Well, thank you very much for your kindness and your generosity. That's very kind. And most importantly, I will not accept the gift until my term is up on January 1st. I will not accept it until then. So I thank you now, but we'll wait about 10 days to accept it formally,
Wonderful.
just to be on the safe side.
Great.
Especially if it's over a certain amount, right? Jim?
I'm not even going to ask. I appreciate it. I appreciate the generosity. So.
And you know what? I have to say that we appreciated that legal advice. All of you should know that James was always very much in tune of how anything that we did would be perceived by the taxpayers and or government, our town government. And so you gave us great guidance and advice, and we will certainly wait until after January 1st to give you anything that so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Well, and I have to say, you know, based on the number of cars I see over at Classic Crust, because I go by there quite often, they seem to be doing very well. So that's good news, and they've done a nice job with that building. So
yes, and the interior as well. I think that they will do well by that building and its history.
yeah, I think you're right, Linda. And thank you very much for coming out. Linda, Nancy, Pauline, I want to thank you for that presentation. And I'll let you work it out with James as far as delivery of the plaque and the gift certificate.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
all right, well, let's stay on this topic here. Teresa, you have a resolution to read?
She's muted.
Yeah, she is.
Oh,
Teresa, you're muted.
John, can you give her the high sign?
Thank you, sorry.
This is the one resolution I really care about.
At least I tried to read through it.
I've been waiting years for this.
If there
Resolution
was
number,
one to be muted for, you know, we've got a bonding resolution that's gonna take her about 38 minutes to read, you know. This one
The
is,
kids stick around for that.
yeah, you don't want to miss that one.
That's right.
resolution number 244 of 2020, a resolution recognizing James Whalen upon the occasion of his retirement from the town board. Whereas James Whalen graduated from the Bronx High School of Science and received his BA from SUNY Albany and his law degree from Albany Law School. And whereas James remained in the Capital Region after graduation, working for the New York State Governor's Office of Regulatory Reform. And whereas James earned the rank of captain during 13 years in the U.S. Army Reserve. And whereas James Whalen and his wife of 19 years, Karen, have lived in Clifton Park since 2004, during which time their 2 children were born. And whereas James Whalen has been a volunteer in the community for many years, serving as both a leader and mentor to volunteer members on numerous town committees and community organizations, including the Clifton Park Environmental Conservation Commission, the Town Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Troy Boys and Girls Club. And whereas in his first run for elected office in 2011, James Whalen was successfully elected as a member of the Clifton Park Town Board and re-elected in 2015 and 2019. Whereas while serving on the town board, Mr. Whalen was a liaison to the Historic Preservation Committee, Community Arts and Culture, and co-liaison to the Department of Parks and Recreation. Whereas during his tenure as a board member, James Whalen also worked in the private sector as an associate counsel, compliance and CRA officer at Pioneer Bank, and more recently as an assistant counsel at the Center for Internet Security. And whereas Councilman Whalen's contributions to Clifton Park are numerous, and positive results of his hard work will continue to benefit the town for future years. And whereas the entire town board wishes to award James Whalen with the key to the town, now therefore be it resolved that I, Town Supervisor Philip Barrett, and the entire town board wish James, his wife Karen, and their entire family the very best of everything in the future, and thank James for his years of service to the town of Clifton Park, and be it further resolved that I, Town Supervisor Phil Barrett, and the entire town board, on behalf of the town of Clifton Park, do hereby recognize James Whalen, our esteemed friend and colleague, for his service to the town of Clifton Park. We are honored to have him in our community and declare December 31st, 2020 to be James Whalen Day in the town of Clifton Park on the occasion of his retirement from public service. Congratulations, James.
Very good. Thank you, Teresa. I'll move that resolution with a second by the board with their approval. Okay, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen.
I will abstain. Thank you.
Councilwoman Standart.
Thank you for your service, Councilman Whalen. I am going to miss you. Yes.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit. Supervisor Barrett.
Yes, and I just want to echo what I said last week, James, which is thank you so much for your service to the town of Clifton Park over many years. It's been a distinct pleasure to serve with you over these years as we've continued to generate new ideas and innovative opportunities to improve our town across every measure. And you were a part of that, and I appreciate it. And we wish you and your entire family, Karen and the kiddos, we're very excited. There they are. All the best through the Christmas season and into 2021. 2020 has been an incredibly challenging year for everybody. It's been very difficult, and you know, the fact that we've been able to work together towards what I believe is a very successful year for the town of Clifton Park. We were able to accomplish a great deal this year, despite COVID and everything else that came our way. And I want to thank you for your efforts in that regard. So thank you. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you soon.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Is there anything that you would like to say, James?
Yes, and this is why I don't bring children to town board meetings. Generally. I don't recommend it. So I made sure I wrote down some, Karen made sure I wrote down some notes, thank goodness, before the meeting. So I just want to say, sorry about that.
That's all right.
It's because this is serious. I thought about this. It really has been a pleasure to serve with all of my fellow elected officials, all of you who are on the call right now, and those who have left service the last few years. Certainly, fellow council member Scott Hughes, Jim Romano, Town Clerk Pat O'Donnell, Sandy Roth. Our paths didn't cross while on the town board, but certainly served with him. And it's been a pleasure to serve with elected officials who care very deeply about the town of Clifton Park and who have always tried to do the right thing. In a lot of ways, serving as an elected official has been easy the last 9 years because we've worked together, we've worked collaboratively, and we've cared about doing the right thing. And when you're working with people who you enjoy working with and spending time with and trying to do the right thing, it doesn't really feel like work. I want to thank all of the town hall employees that I've served with. If you're on the line here, thank you for everything you've done for the town. Thank you for everything you've done for me and for teaching me and giving me a greater appreciation for what you do. So from the bottom of my heart as a board member and as a resident of the town of Clifton Park, thank you. I want to thank all of the volunteers and members of our town boards and commissions. Linda, Nancy, Pauline, Maud, thank you for being here. Thank you for everything that you do. Special thanks to the members of the ECC and the zoning board that I had the pleasure of serving with 12, 13 years ago at this point. Time certainly flies. Thank you again to the members of the Historic Preservation Commission. As I've often said to them, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be a history professor somewhere. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with you. I've learned so much from you about preserving history in Clifton Park. It's really been a pleasure for me to help support the hard work that you do. So thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your ability to teach me. And I hope you've enjoyed working with me half as much as I've enjoyed working with all of you. Most importantly, thank you to my family. I'm not sure if any of my extended family is on this call. If they are, thank you. Most importantly, and she's holding up, see, this is what happens here. All right. Most importantly, thank you to my wife, Karen, who's holding. Most importantly, thank you to my wife, Karen, who's I can see and you can't. If most of us, we've known each other for a long time, and you've known Karen for a long time since we moved to town. And it goes without saying, and I'm glad this meeting is being recorded on the record, because I would not be able to do this without her love and support. So thank you. Thank you to Katie and Jack. You didn't ask for this, but you've enjoyed it. You've supported me. And I promise we can still do pancake breakfasts once they happen again. And then last but not least, I want to say thank you to the town of Clifton Park for the opportunity to serve. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve as a town board member and to be part of the leadership of this great town. I remember I was thinking about this, I guess maybe it's the end of the year, end of the term. Many, many years ago, Phil, you had said to me, if you want to make a difference, the best way to make a difference is here at the local level where you serve. And you were absolutely right about that. So I thank you for that insight years ago. I've tried to keep that with me the last 9 years to make a difference here in the community in which we live. I really appreciate that. And I promise you that I will cherish forever the memories I've made the last 9 years. And I thank you all the opportunity for this and to appreciate the silliness that goes on here.
Well, thank you, Jim, very much. And we hope, who knows, maybe you come back and help us out in a different capacity at some point. You never know. So
that's right. I'd love that.
Keep those communication lines open.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Fantastic. And thank you to all the Whalens.
There you are. You say bye? Thanks. Can you say thank you to everybody? Thank you.
Oh, we're not done yet. We still have a bonding resolution. You're going to love it.
Katie was just telling me that she wanted to learn more about municipal finance.
Well, it is her night. So, well, actually, I have an idea about that resolution, but we'll talk about it when we get there. But thanks again, James, very much. And we appreciate all of your service to the town of Clifton Park.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, we do have some other resolutions. So, Teresa, if you could.
I think you'll want to go on to the public hearing first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I almost forgot. Yes, we have to go to the public hearing. I'm sorry. Could you read the legal notice as it appeared in the Gazette, please?
I can do that.
All right.
Town of Clifton Park, County of Saratoga, State of New York. Notice of public hearing regarding proposed amendment to the chapter section 10316 Town Code relative to building permit fees. Please take notice that the town board of the town of Clifton Park will conduct a public hearing on December 21st, 2020 at 7:05 p.m. in the Wood Memorial Meeting Room in the town office building located at 1 Town Hall Plaza, Town of Clifton Park, County of Saratoga, State of New York, to consider amending the town's code relative building permit fees. Copies of the proposed local law are posted on the cliftonpark.org website, government legal notices, and are available for review in the town clerk's office during normal business hours. And that was in the December 14th edition of the Gazette.
Very good. Thank you, Teresa. With that, we'll open the public hearing. Is Steve Myers on?
Yes, I'm here, Phil.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
So I know you talked a little bit about your proposal here during the budget process, but if you could just give us a brief overview again as we consider it in the public hearing. I do want to say before Steve just gets started real quick, every couple of years, he and I talk about going back out canvassing municipalities within our peer group to see where the marketplace for fees stands at that particular point in time. And then Steve will put together a chart and propose some adjustments. So that's how this process began. So go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, we went through all the fees for the building department zoning applications and made adjustments up, not real significantly in most areas. Just and we're still, even with the increases proposed, we're still generally below all of our neighbors that touch us, Half Moon Colony and Niskayuna. The one fee that stands out as probably needing more thought and adjustment than the others is the large solar arrays. We decided when we started this with those, we would charge $1,000 for a permit for the solar fields. Since then, I have found out that we are significantly below what anybody else is apparently charging.
That market has changed fast. There's no doubt about that. So I think we make some progress here with the proposed change.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it's in there proposed to charge $10,000 for the large solar fields now. Whereas our neighbors are charging basically 1% of the construction cost for a solar field. So we just put a $10 million solar array down on Grooms Road at Lindsay's Farm, which if we'd have charged 1% would have been a $100,000 permit fee. And this is ongoing in neighboring communities now. The only one that doesn't do anything like that is Half Moon, but Colony and Niskayuna, that's what they're charging. So that, that change would be significant, even if it went to 10,000 from the 1,000. But most of the other ones, it's $5, $10, things like that, $20. Nothing real significant, but to try and keep up a little bit with what's going on around us.
Right. Okay. Very good. Were there any comments, Teresa?
No comments came through on email.
Okay. Do we have anybody wishing to comment, John, that's involved in the meeting?
Nothing in the chat, and if anybody from the public is participating by phone, they can hit *6 to unmute themselves and then *6 to remute themselves if they'd like the opportunity to speak at this time.
Okay. Any comments from the board at all at this point? Questions for Steve? Okay.
I would just say from, revisiting these fees as we've done over the years from time to time certainly makes sense to keep pace with an increase of cost and to keep us competitive with neighboring towns. So, it's certainly, something necessary that needs to happen from time to time. So I think this is certainly good to move forward in this way.
I still hear from all the contractors that come in that we're still the lowest town around as far as what they have to pay for fees here. And that's why we seem to be one of the reasons we're so popular, I think.
Well, our goal typically is to not be the most expensive. We want to provide fair levels for permits, but not be punitive. So we are typically low or amongst the lowest in our peer group in the area with regard to building department fees, and that's purposeful. So That's no doubt been our course of action for a number of years. And that's particularly true, I think, with household permits for various things. Is that true, Steve?
That is correct. We are, from what I understand, significantly lower than at least Colony for sure. And, but we still, you know, it's a fairly significant fee either way, but, you know, they seem to be a lot more enthusiastic about coming here because I think the fees other places are quite significantly higher in some cases. I did a couple comparisons on the table.
Well, I'm talking about homeowners, you know, roofing permits, you know, HVAC permits, you know.
Yeah, that stuff is.
Jobs around the house, you know, we've been particularly citing on the side of caution to ensure that those fees are certainly amongst the lowest, if not the lowest, because those are paid by homeowners.
That's correct. That is correct. And you know, our fee, they're really just to ensure that they get a permit to so that we can check the stuff and make sure it's correct, so that we have a record of it.
Right, and it gives the following purchaser of a home in Clifton Park some peace of mind that the work that was done correctly because it was inspected by a professional.
Correct.
All right, very good. If there's no further comment, we'll close the public hearing and move forward. Now we have more resolutions, right, Teresa?
Yes, we do.
All right.
A resolution authorizing budget transfers for calendar year 2020 as specified in Exhibit A. Whereas the comptroller has recommended that certain budget adjustments contained in Exhibit A be made to address the needs of all funds as well as other miscellaneous expenditures as set forth in Exhibit A. Now therefore be it resolved that the budget transfer specified in Exhibit A be adopted per the comptroller's recommendations. A resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign a lease agreement with Key Government Financing Incorporated for leasing of general fund and highway fund vehicles. Whereas the comptroller's office received responses to a request for quotes to local banks for financing rates through a master lease for municipal vehicles. And whereas Key Bank submitted the lowest financing rate proposal, and whereas the town board determines that financing recently approved acquisitions of vehicles for municipal use is best accomplished through a master lease agreement with Key Government Financing Incorporated at competitive lease financing rates. Now therefore be it resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to enter into a lease agreement with Key Government Financing Incorporated for the lease purchase of new vehicles throughout the town for 5 years at a total cost not to exceed $158,568 or $33,739.23 a year to be paid starting in 2021. A resolution refunding bond resolution of the town of Clifton Park, Saratoga County, New York, adopted on December 21st, 2020, authorizing the issuance of refunding bonds of the town in a principal amount not to exceed $6 million to refund certain outstanding serial bonds of the town and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Are we waiving the reading?
Yeah,
of the rest of the, okay.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to hit the end of a sentence here so I can interrupt you. This resolution itself is 7 plus pages. There's many graphs showing years of maturity of the bonds and rates and so on and so forth. Obviously, if anybody is interested in this information, it is available, but this will take a very long time to get through for a simple refinancing of some debt. And last week I touched on what's in there, and between Mark and I will certainly do that again tonight. But I'd like to entertain a motion to, at the risk of disappointing Katie, of course, I would like to entertain a motion, or I'll make a motion to waive the reading of of this one resolution.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Standard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. So there you go, Teresa. We saved you about, gosh, a long time.
Sounds good. Thank you. A resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign an intermunicipal agreement between the County of Saratoga and the Town of Clifton Park for the provision of transportation to medical appointments and/or shopping trips for senior residents. Whereas pursuant to Section 119 of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York, the parties are authorized to enter into binding agreements for the cooperative performance of various municipal projects, contracts, and functions. And whereas the County of Saratoga and the town recognize the benefit to both municipalities that arise from the cooperative provision of service for their residents. And whereas Saratoga County and Clifton Park wish to formalize an agreement whereby the town will provide a minimum of 150 units of transportation per quarter to seniors aged 60 and over, now therefore be it resolved that the town board approves extending the intermunicipal agreement between the County of Saratoga and the town of Clifton Park for the provision of senior transportation services per the attached agreement. And be it further resolved that the intermunicipal agreement between the County of Saratoga and the town of Clifton Park is hereby approved retroactively October 1st, 2020 through March 31st, 2022. A resolution authorizing the comptroller to pay Environmental Design Partnership for supplemental engineering services related to the completion of the Dwasco Nature Preserve Parking and Trailhead Improvements Project. Whereas by resolution number 276 of 2017, Environmental Design Partnership was awarded a $14,000 contract for engineering and construction inspection services for the Dwasco Nature Preserve Parking and Trailhead improvements to be performed by the Buildings and Grounds staff. And whereas resolution number 127 of 2019 authorizing an additional $3,900 in such engineering design services relative to the Dwasco project. And whereas Environmental Design Partnership Route 146 Clifton Park has submitted a final invoice in the amount of $1,350 upon completion of the parking and trailhead improvements at the Dwasco Nature Preserve. Now therefore be it resolved that the comptroller is authorized to pay Environmental Design Partnership the sum not to exceed $1,350 from open space trails and riverfront, other contractual for the completed professional services per the Environmental Design Partnership final invoice. A resolution accepting an offer of dedication of the road system, drainage easements, park area, and open space within the Heritage Point subdivision. Whereas pursuant to New York State Highway Law 171, the town board has the discretion to accept the dedication of roads and real property for public use. And whereas on May 27th, 2014, the planning board approved the Heritage Point residential subdivision. And whereas pursuant to the approved subdivision plans, developer Jeffrey Brooks offered to dedicate a road system, including certain drainage facilities, along with easements over several approved lots for drainage purposes, as well as open space and park areas. And whereas pursuant to the subdivision, Mr. Brooks also offered to convey 3 separate parcels of land as open space, as well as a 1.54 acre area for park purposes. And whereas the town's determination to accept the road system was contingent upon the completion of the road construction, including top coat, drainage facilities, as well as detailed items related to the approved subdivision plan. And whereas Prime Engineering has completed inspections and reports that all punch list items have been completed, and whereas Highways Superintendent Dan Bull concurs in the acceptance of the road system at this time. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board accepts the offer of dedication of Heritage Point Drive, Balsam Way, Arthur Court, and Lorraine Court as depicted on the approved subdivision map and as more particularly described in the relevant deeds, as well as a dedication of 3 open space areas totaling 16.43 acres and a 1.54 acre area for park purposes between Balsam Way and Heritage Point Drive. Also as depicted and described, subject to the final approval of the town attorney of all real estate transfer documents, review of title, and confirmation of the payment of appropriate taxes. And be it further resolved that the area accepted for park purposes is hereby dedicated to park purpose in perpetuity. A resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign a memorandum of agreement with CSEA relative to the creation and reclassification of positions within the Buildings and Grounds Department. Whereas by resolution number 220 of 2020, the town board established the title of transfer station manager and effected promotions and salary adjustments for Daniel Clemens, Director of Buildings, Parks and Recreation, Maintenance Supervisor Kieran Lynch, and Transfer Station Manager Donald McCune. And whereas the town board wishes to enter a memorandum of agreement with CSEA acknowledging the title changes and promotions within the Department of Buildings and Grounds, as well as the flexibility for assignments for staff. Now therefore be it resolved that the attached memorandum of agreement with CSEA acknowledging the consolidation of the transfer station within the Department of Buildings and Grounds is approved. A resolution declaring a public emergency pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 1034, for heating repairs at the historic Grooms Tavern. Whereas a failure of the heating system at Grooms Tavern was identified by Town Security on December 12, 2020, and whereas subsequent investigation revealed that there was a circulatory pump failure and leaks in the hot water storage tank and coils. And whereas Section 1034 of the New York State General Municipal Law provides that in cases of an emergency situation arising from unforeseen circumstances affecting public buildings or the health or safety of the public, the town board may authorize the purchase of several service, materials, and equipment without competitive bidding. And whereas Daniel Clemens, Director of Buildings, Parks and Recreation, was able to locate a contractor able to perform repairs to the heating system at Grooms Tavern on an emergency basis. And whereas Poster and Jekyll Corporation issued a quote on December 16th, 2020 to perform repairs to the sewer main on an emergency basis. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board determines that the resulting damage to the heating system at Grooms Tavern as determined on December 12, 2020 constitutes an emergency for procurement purposes under Section 1034 of the General Municipal Law, and be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to pay $6,369 from Grooms Road Emporium Equipment to allow payment to Postler and Jekyll Corporation to the work associated with this repair. A resolution approving an agreement with payment in lieu of taxes with Hubs Road Solar LLC. Whereas Section 487(9) of the New York State Real Property Tax Law authorizes municipalities to enter into payment in lieu of tax agreements pilot with solar energy developers within each taxing jurisdiction under certain circumstances. And whereas Active Solar Development LLC applied for subdivision and site plan approval and has been issued a special use permit for the construction of a solar energy project at 413 Schaber Road totaling 5 megawatt capacity. And whereas Active Solar has established Hubs Road Solar LLC as an operating company to construct and hold the improvements related to the solar arrays and related equipment, accessories, and improvements. And whereas the town board wishes to enter into a pilot agreement with Hubs Road Solar LLC pursuant to Real Property Tax Law 487(9) for the lease area designated for the project as described in Exhibit A of the agreement. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute the attached pilot agreement in the amount of $25,000 annually with 2% annual increases for a 15-year term attached. A resolution scheduling the 2020 organizational meeting and the first 2021 town board meeting for the town of Clifton Park. Whereas the town board wishes to schedule the 2021 organizational meeting and the first 2021 town board meeting. Now therefore be it resolved that the 2021 organizational meeting for the town of Clifton Park shall be held on Monday, January 4th, 2021 at 7:00 p.m. in the Wood Memorial Meeting Room, 1 Town Hall Plaza, Clifton Park, New York. And be it further resolved that the first town board meeting of 2021 will be held on January 4th, 2021, immediately following the organizational meeting in the Wood Memorial Room, 1 Town Hall Plaza, Clifton Park, New York. That's it.
Very good. Thank you, Teresa. Are there any questions on the resolutions? Okay, seeing none. Teresa, if you could start with number 3 and read the heading, please.
Resolution number 245 of 2020, a resolution authorizing budget transfers for calendar year 2020 as specified in Exhibit A.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Whalen. Mark Hagan, you're on the line, I believe?
Yes, I am.
All right, there he is. So what are we looking at here?
So this right now is the initial balancing I have for the general fund and the highway fund right now. I will have another one the beginning part of next year to finalize the entire budget. But what it does do is take into account the budget adjustments we need to do at this moment in time.
Mhm. Okay. Are there any questions for Mark? Okay, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
yes,
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 246 of 2020, a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign a lease agreement with Key Government Financing Incorporated for leasing of general fund and highway fund vehicles.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whalen, second by Mrs. Standard. Mark?
So this is the lease for the loader that we got last month. This is just the financing part of it. KeyBank had our master lease about 2 years ago that we had. I put it out to bid. I got 2 bids. KeyBank was at 2.1% and JP Morgan Chase was at 2.12%. So decent rates for the loader, and it is within the budget that we put in for 2021.
Very good. Any questions for Mark? Okay, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
yes,
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 247 of 2020, a refunding bond resolution of the Town of Clifton Park, Saratoga County, New York, adopted on December 21st, 2020, authorizing the issuance of refunding bonds of the town in a principal amount not to exceed $6 million to refund certain outstanding serial bonds of the town and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Whalen. You know, when there's a tie tonight, it's always going to go to Jim. So
second,
that's just the way it's going to be, Anthony. Thank you. Councilman Morelli. Mark, just want to talk a little bit about this again this week. Basically, most of this debt, 4.7 million of this debt, is debt for the library. Now, I know people say, well, the library has a separate taxing district. The new library was built based on a referendum of the town. That's all true. But the town is obliged to carry the debt for the library in this instance. So we're refinancing a large portion of that debt that still remains at about 4.7 million. The remainder of the bond, which is these callable bonds, which is a much lower number, about 175 is the savings. How much on the infrastructure, Mark? We got about what, 1.3?
Yeah, so there's the other parts are some water and sewer debt that we had financed back in 2011, and actually the 2013 was that issue right there was actually refunding of an original bond that we did back in 2005 was when the library was first done. So it's actually this will be the second time we refund the 2013 bond, but it includes corporate commerce, sewer and water. I believe Dutch Meadows, Route 9 water district, and all those districts right there. So, and the potential savings is over $600,000. So it's really,
Well, we're looking at about 675, right?
Right.
So 500,000 in savings alone on the library debt. Is that correct?
Correct.
So then 175 on the infrastructure debt will be saved. So it is a significant savings. And as we detailed, most of the savings will go toward the library debt and everybody that pays into the Clifton Park Half Moon Library District. Anything else that we should explain as far as this bonding is concerned, Mark?
It's the schedule basically right now is that we actually have a call with Moody's scheduled for next Monday, and it'll go hopefully rather quickly. By the middle of February, it'll be all done with. So that's all I have.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and the last year our bond rating was increased, which is very helpful when we do look to either incurred debt or refinance callable bonds. So either way, having that upgrade in our bond rating does help not only the actual taxpayers of Clifton Park, but all of the taxpayers of the library and any other special district that we manage money for. Any questions on this topic? Okay. All right. So great job on this, Mark, and going through the mechanics of getting this done. And everything looks good to me so far. So well done. Teresa?
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standart,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 248 of 2020, a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign an intermunicipal agreement between the County of Saratoga and the Town of Clifton Park for the provision of transportation to medical appointments and/or shopping trips for senior residents.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Morelli, second by Mr. Whalen. The senior van, the two senior vans have continued to operate on a regular basis. I want to thank our full-time drivers as well as our part-time fill-ins because all throughout 2020, demand for rides has remained strong. Despite people avoiding public places, seniors need to get to important medical appointments each and every week. So it's a valuable service and it's an essential service. And I just want to thank our team for continuing to provide incredible service to the residents of Clifton Park in this area. Now, we have also been moving forward on our new partnership with CDPHP on some advertising that they will be doing on one of our senior vans. And I did send a mock-up of the desired design. I did mention in that email that the phone number was left out, but that was added back in because I thought it would be important to have that phone number available just for the small chance that from a safety situation it might be needed that it be there. It's always been on the bus and thought it should stay. So it was originally left off, but it's now back on. Nothing else has changed from that original mock-up. So we look forward to the vans one van at least having a new look and a great partnership with somebody a corporation that's been a great sponsor of the senior center and supported a lot of programs that our seniors partake in. And now they will be a sponsor of our senior van service. Any questions, comments? Okay, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
yes,
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 249 of 2020, a resolution authorizing the comptroller to pay environmental design partnership for supplemental engineering services related to the completion of the Dwaskill Nature Preserve Parking and Trailhead Improvements Project.
so moved.
Moved by Mr. Morelli, second by Mrs. Standart. This is another park improvement project that's coming to fruition. Dan Clemens, are you on the line? Dan? I know he was here. I saw his truck right before the meeting started. All right, so this is self-explanatory, and we want to move forward with this, working with the Open Space Trails and Riverfront Committee. This parking area, trailhead area, is important to that park in the future. We've certainly seen a sharp increase in the use of our parks and recreational network, which thankfully this town board has moved forward to grow exponentially over the years. And it's certainly very important that we did that now with the sharp increase in usage. And we talked a little bit about that last week, but these, well, in this case, smaller improvements are still very important to the usage of the park. So any questions, comments? Okay, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standart,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
Yes,
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 250 of 2020, a resolution accepting an offer of dedication of the road system, drainage easements, park area, and open space within the Heritage Point subdivision.
Moved.
Second.
By Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Whalen. Is Dan Bull on the line?
Dan's not Phil, but I can speak to it from
Okay.
a planning standpoint.
Sure.
Town staff with the town highway superintendent, we went and did a walkthrough of the site with their town designated engineer. We came up with a punch list a few months ago. All those items have been completed and satisfied to the satisfaction of town staff. Therefore, the recommendation from the engineers and town staff was to accept dedication. The homes have been completed. The last few homes are being constructed now, and we're ready to take over the roads, and other infrastructure will be restored in the spring in terms of seeding. And we retain 20% of the original performance bond that the developer put up for the infrastructure improvements a year beyond dedication, to make sure that the grass restoration will be established in the spring and summer of next year.
Very good. Any questions for John? All right, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standart,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
yes,
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 251 of 2020, a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign a memorandum of agreement with CSEA relative to the creation and reclassification of positions within the Buildings and Grounds Department.
So
so
moved.
moved.
I'm sorry, Ms.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Mr. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli. Tom, Tom McCarthy, you on the line?
Muted.
Tom? So
Yes.
this was
Hello.
the, oh, there he is. How are you?
I'm okay. This is just to acknowledge the change with Don McCune. Basically, that position was newly created and that salary was placed on the matrix, which is a part of the CSEA contract. So we just did a quick acknowledgement of the town board's actions for purposes of attaching that position to the CSEA agreement and to and to reinforce the fact that Karen Lynch's position remains within the collective bargaining unit.
Okay, very good. Any questions on these items? Okay, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
yes,
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 252 of 2020, a resolution declaring a public emergency pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 1034, for heating repairs at the historic Grooms Tavern.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Whalen, second by Mrs. Standart. This was a concerning situation that was identified, and the repairs will be completed tomorrow. So everything will be back up and running the normal tomorrow. I wanted Dan to further explain this because he's done a lot of great work on this with the buildings and grounds staff, but I think we lost him off the meeting. But suffice to say, you know, he moved quickly to get the repairs done and done quickly. Obviously, the Grooms Tavern is an important cultural center for the town, and we normally would have events during this time of year on occasion and through the fall, and that hasn't happened, unfortunately. But anyway, we're back up and running here, and we'll be in good shape. Are there any comments from the Historic Preservation Commission? I know you've been following this, James. Councilman Whalen.
Yes, no, I mean, certainly appreciate Dan's efforts, on this. So wherever Dan is, thank you. Hopefully he hears me.
Yeah, we'll make sure tomorrow. All right, great. So anyway, I want to Mark also move quickly on this with Tom, and I think we got this done in record time. So good job, everybody. Okay, Teresa.
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
yes,
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 253 of 2020, a resolution approving an agreement for payment in lieu of taxes with Hubs Road Solar LLC.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Whalen. Tom, any comments on this at this point?
No, it's a standard pilot agreement under Section 487 of the real property tax law.
Okay. Any questions on this item? Okay, Teresa.
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
yes,
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes.
Resolution number 254 of 2020, a resolution scheduling the 2021 organizational meeting and the first 2021 town board meeting for the town of Clifton Park.
So moved.
second,
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli. Yes, this means 2020 will end at some point. So our first meeting will be the organizational meeting, January 4th. Teresa?
Councilman Whalen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard,
Yes.
Councilman Morelli,
yes,
Councilwoman Wallowit, Supervisor Barrett.
Yes. Is there any other business to come before the board this evening? Okay. Public privilege, were there any comments, Teresa?
I've received none. I don't know whether there's anyone online that would like to speak.
Now, we did have comments last week from Mary Gueri about parking down at the Visscher Ferry Nature Preserve. Dan Clemens has come up with some first phase planning efforts regarding signage. And so, you know, as I instructed Dan today, you know, it's important that we get the parking signage up quickly to deter people from parking in areas that create problematic situations. But he's also going to work with the Open Space Trails and Riverfront Committee, and as they also would like some better signage within the nature preserve itself. One, because of the increase in the amount of people visiting the nature preserve on a regular basis in 2020, but also with the installation of the new pedestrian bridge to make sure that people know that that is also a parking location. It's a little further down. It's not the main parking area that most people know, but it's just a little bit down the road. And now that you can access the trail system within the preserve so much easier by parking at Klutz Dry Dock. Formerly, you'd have to backtrack all the way up to the main parking area, but now with the bridge, you can just access the trail system very easily. So some of that is just, you know, information that we need to get to people as they enter the park and they realize that there's other alternatives. So I want to thank Dan for working. I was going to have him mention that tonight as well, but we'll catch up with him with some further detail. And Teresa, as that comes together, I mentioned if you could forward that to Mary as well.
Yes.
All right. So at this point, you know, this is our last meeting of 2020, a year like no other. That is for sure. So it's, you know, as we've said many times, it's been a challenging year, but our community and our team here at the town has pulled together to help countless numbers of people this year. And I know for as long as this COVID pandemic continues, that our team here at Town Hall and community as a whole will continue to pull together and help those that are less fortunate or more vulnerable and need additional assistance. Along those lines, on the 30th of December, we will have another food drive for Captain. I've been speaking with Andy Gilpin, who just assumed the executive director role. And I want to make sure I thank Sue Katropa for her years of service working with Captain and how much we've enjoyed working with her over the years. Andy has been with the organization for a long time, and I expect a seamless transition. But the need for non-perishables and food has continued to grow again. So we had 3 food drives, our team here at Town Hall, that were extremely successful in the spring and summer. And, you know, I think it's time, after talking with Andy, to work towards replenishing the Captain Pantry and make sure they have the proper reserves going through the holidays. I was also contacted by an Eagle Scout candidate, Aiden Sherwood. Aiden is collecting non-perishables for Captain, and I invited him to be part of it as well. So that will help his Eagle project move along during what is a difficult time. He had contacted me about doing something at Town Hall, and I explained the situation with our very low foot traffic and now, you know, closing the public access without an appointment. And he jumped on the idea of joining with us. So that'll be on the 30th from 10 to 1. So we'll be getting out information on that event to ensure that residents are aware of it. And we're hoping for another huge response. Okay. So again, thank you to everybody. Thank you, James. Councilman Whalen, if you had any any last words to send us off here in 2020 as you exit your time on the board? Feel free.
I would say thank you again to everyone. It's been a pleasure. 9 years goes by very, very quickly. All those cliches about time flying by, it really is true. So thank you to everyone. And I guarantee I will see you all again in the new year in person. So at some point.
Bye.
Always upstage.
Bye, Karen, Katie, Jack.
Bye, guys.
God bless. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye. Bye. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
And I wishing everybody a happy new year. And let's all wish for a better 2021.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's right. That's right. So with that, Mr. Whalen, if you would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Standart. Teresa?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Councilwoman Standart? Councilwoman Standart?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallowit? Maybe someone should call her, make sure she's okay. Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas.
you. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy New
Christmas.
Year.
Happy Merry Christmas.
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. Happy New Year.